Hello, my wee congregation. The sound you can hear in the background is the sound of industry. I haven't shown you any footage today of industry because I had to pop out. I am back and I am enjoying a glass of, it's not Malbec. I like a Malbec. What is this? I think it's just some sort of Burgundy. Anyway, it's very nice. And I'm not smoking my pipe today, I'm on the snuff. There was a nice chap commented, it must have been a month ago, weeks ago, how he smokes, snorts I should say. Is it Elmos? Anyway, I bought some, it's quite nice. But I like the menthol quality of Hedges, and quite like it really. You'll probably hear this on the very ultra sensitive mic. It's more like ASMR, isn't it, my videos? You just hear me snorting and gurgling and breathing heavily. Of course, some people like that. Anyway, so I haven't got my pipe. I'm sat here in my Fair Isle jumper and my maroon trousers, which are de rigueur amongst the upper echelons, of which I am not a member. So this video, you're going to hear Tom the Digger Man going back and forwards. But that's not a bad thing, is it? Because it means I shall just pause and take a drink every time he goes past. Good excuse to quaff, what? He's playing some sort of ghastly trance music, but then today he's doing logs and logs only. No landscaping today. I have literally hundreds and hundreds of tons of logs, and he's just moving them from one place to the other. You might recall from some of the pictures on the video yesterday, there was a lot of loggage in front of the house. Well, that's all gone. And there was lots of loggage either side, and that is being moved off into one corner of the property, out of the bloody way. I should probably have to get a tarp over it at some point so it doesn't rot. But I mean, that's a problem for another day, fellows. Today, I got up, and I got up fairly early, so I was able to come into my mini Zendo and meditate, which is fun. And here he comes. And Lisa, my clerk of works, brought me some sand. And I needed sand because I was using my incense sticks with quinoa in my little incense holder. But I've got a nice little abalone shell now, and I've put some sand in. I had no sand here. She brought me some sand, Lisa, which is great, for me to place my incense sticks into. The quinoa was attracting a little shrew. And through the night, I was providing a midnight banquet for the wildlife of South Shropshire. So anyway, that's what I've... So I got up, yes, I meditated, said my prayers, and then sort of did my watering regime of my plants, and which is always a delight. And I wasn't feeling it this morning at all. I didn't sleep particularly well. My hip was aching, and so that was a pain. But I got enough sleep. Anyway, so and then I had to put on some sensible clothes in which to arrive at Bishop's Castle in order to pick up my prescription, which I mentioned yesterday, which I got. I mean, they messed it all up. I phoned up the doctor to say, you have put my prescription through to the chemist at Bishop's Castle. Arrive at the Bishop's Castle chemist. No, we've got nothing here for you. So in the chemist, I phoned up the GP, and one of them kindly in their lunch break popped the prescription through to the chemist. And they said it shouldn't happen again, so that's good. Anyway, so I was able to do that, and then I did a perusal of the antique shops. Very rare for me. I didn't come back with anything, apart from something in a charity shop. I found a rather nice coaster of Honduras mahogany with a solid silver plate inside it for £2. So that's in the caravan, and I shall put my glasses in that of an evening as I quaff my whiskey and drink my wine. So that was all I bought, but I had a lovely chat with it's normally shut, this antique shop. First time I've ever been, it's been open. A fellow called Mike, nice fella. Tons of antiques, and they're what we call smalls in the trade. Cabinets full of all bits of interesting stuff. So I was in there some time, principally talking about militaria, of which I have an interest, because I have a number of rapiers and swords and pistols and goodness knows what. All legal, by the way, if the police are watching. Probably more legal than my speeches. You can end up in prison if you say the wrong thing now, chaps. So be careful what you say out there on the YouTube. So I did that, and now I've got a lovely freezer. You saw the freezer a couple of episodes ago, which is now humming away nicely in the workshop. I was able to do a nice shop in the Spa. There's a garage that's got a big spa attached at the bottom of the high street. And I was able to go in there and fill up. Marvellous. And so that's now all in the freezer. So that's good. I won't starve in the next few days. A nice scroll came from Japan. I won't show you it. It's behind the camera on my wall where I meditate. And I've got one more coming, hopefully this week. So I'll have a trilogy of Japanese scrolls. I've got some beautiful ones in the container. But they can stay there for now. But the 3 of the scrolls, I'll show you when the third one's arrived, will look rather nice. So it's all coming together. It's shaping up my little Zendo. And I did the shopping for that. I bought that. What else did I do? Picked up my meds. I think that's about it, really. Came back. I haven't changed into my Japanese work clothes. I am as I was in Bishop's Castle. But I was just thinking today how tired I was when I got up, and I was a bit out of sorts, frankly. Wasn't feeling great, really. I've cheered up a lot since. And I was just thinking about how wearing it's been the last few days. Today's been easier for me, of course, because I'm not involved in the log clearing. I'm just sort of overseeing it a little bit. But I was thinking of all the industry today, yesterday, and the day before. It's, a 3-day tranche where you don't really get much peace other than that time of meditation early in the morning. And I found myself internally thinking, God, I wish you just finish and this whole period be over. And, the chipper goes, the digger goes, everything, and I can close all the gates and just, go back to my quiet, reclusive life for a while at least, until the next period of activity. And I was minded to think about the sort of energy versus quietude rest quotient percentile. And it's very important, isn't it, to get that in harmony. I've talked before, haven't I, about how the Lord rested on the 7th day. And the importance of rest. I've done a video on that very subject. I don't know, about a month ago it was. And I talked about that, the importance of balance. And I think really I'm minded to talk about that slightly again today in terms of energy and rest. And when I say rest, I'm talking about the absence of energized work. Because, of course, you can experience periods of rest in a couple of ways. I mean, if you're a teenage lad in your mum's back bedroom, if you have periods of quietude, you may just go, Mum, I'm bored. I'm so bored. And it won't be experienced as a positive thing. Other people who work extremely hard during the day or the week will find their weekends and their evenings blissful. just because of the absence of the energized work. And that's what I mean by the quotient, energy over quietude, or periods of, absence of energized work. You can call it quietude, solitude, silence, rest, refreshment, call it what you like. But there needs to be that balance, and of course they have that balance in Zen monasteries in Japan, where you spend so much time in meditation, so much time in work, so much time in study or eating, etc. And again, Western monks do the same. They divide the day between study, prayer, and rest, and work, and whatever. It's important to do it, you see. And I was minded to think about it because in the West we're highly energized, as opposed to possibly the East. And by that, what I mean is we have a particular mindset in the West. We're go-getters. We like to go out. We like to conquer. We like to exploit. We like to pioneer. We like to be adventurous. We like to go out and achieve things. Now, in the East, there is more of a meditative and quiet attitude to industry. Although maybe less so now that places like Japan, for example, have become westernized. I don't think for the better. They can make things more efficient and faster and cheaper, but on the whole, at the expense of the population. I think it was much nicer in the days before the Meiji period, the time of the samurai and one thing or another, but I would say that, wouldn't I? Probably wasn't that much fun for the old peasant, you know, in their paddy fields, sowing rice, back-breaking work, that is, sowing rice. So perhaps I'm looking at it slightly through tinted glasses here. But the point remains that, by and large, Western civilization is marked by progress. You know, you think of those early pioneers who went to America, often escaping some of the things I talk about, persecution. I always think there's something rather odd about any religion that frightens people into a state of grace. But off they went to America. And, you know, you used to see those movies, what do they call them, wagon trails. Whole German families, Dutch families, going across the prairie and getting attacked by Indians. All setting out with huge amounts of industry and energy and achieving great things. And America is characterized by achieving great things. They have a wonderful pioneer spirit. And I was just thinking that has to be offset, though. The percentile, if you like, the quotient between energized and non-energized periods of the day and periods of your life. As I say, the last 3 days have been highly energized. And I'm absolutely looking forward to an absence of that energy. I shall return to a certain amount of pottering, which is fine. And so there you have the two sort of modes of existence. But the time of refreshment and quietude, as I say, could be experienced as boredom by some people. But that is generally because they haven't spent enough time in the energized sphere. So the whole day is just boring. But those who have been engaged in the energized sphere, they really appreciate those times. I think they call it down times, don't they? When you have some downtime. And downtime is great. I've always loved downtime. Even in America, when I was working as a counsellor with children as a young man. And, you know, you were active most of the time and most of the week. But you get a day off. And again, those days off were kind of just blissful. Where you just did what you wanted to do on those days. Could have a lie-in if you wanted. And they were just utter... I used to experience those with utter tranquility and serenity and peace. They were marvellous. Before you re-enter the energy sphere. Tom at the moment is very much in his energy sphere, although he's playing some sort of weird trance music because I think he has to go into Zen mode while he's doing what he's doing, because in a sense it is mindless and repetitive, a bit like factory work, but in the outdoors. But he's happy with it, and he should get paid for it, and we'll get him back for some more work at some point. But anyway, that was what I was really minded to think about today. That getting that balance correct in our lives, so we don't get burnout. And people do get burnout, don't they? And people get depressed. Some people don't know how to cope with downtime. As I say, some get bored, twiddle their thumbs, and they constantly seek to invade that void with activity and displacement activities. And sometimes living with a constant hum. You know, the telly's either on, there's music on, mad adverts blaring away, people coming in and out, playing those video games. We sometimes bombard the void, don't we? With all sorts of displacement activities, principally because people do have a problem, as I've said on other videos, of just sitting with themselves. Can't bear it. I mean, there'll be people probably watching this video who can't remember the last time they just sat still for 5 minutes without doing something or thinking something or being engaged in something. Just sat still for 5 minutes, doing nothing. I mean, the pipe smokers, they're fine. They're Zen masters, they are. They sit around forever, puffing on their pipes, doing nothing, and quite happy. So they've got a bit of a leg up in the meditation world. But those are the thoughts that sort of came to me today, really. But I think society is changing, because we've got to the point where we're so civilized and so progressed, and we've pioneered everything, and we've discovered everything, and we've conquered everything, and exploited everything, that they now become like grown-up, bored teenagers. I don't think the West really knows where it's going anymore. And with the discovery of AI and the creation of AI, it's only going to get worse. There are going to be less people in work, less people in the energy sphere, looking to displace all the time they have on their hands and filling it with who knows what. It would be nice to think they would fill it with listening to the opera and reading improving books, but that might not be the case. It could be destructive habits that begin to encroach upon the void time, the de-energized time. So I leave that with you, really. Those are my thoughts for today. I'm showing you no footage of the house today, or the grounds or anything, because I've been out, and I might do a little walkabout tomorrow. It'll be a day of peace tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. I like Fridays. Gosh, it doesn't seem like a week ago I was talking about Fridays to you. Gosh, amazing, isn't it, how the weeks whistled by. But, yep, and Friday is sort of the beginning of the weekend. So let's have a good weekend, a de-energized weekend for some of us. Doesn't mean you can't potter and do other stuff, because they can be quite enjoyable, can't they? That pottering and gardening and mowing the lawn or even washing the dishes, they can all be part of one's meditative and mindful experience. But highly energized activity, where there's a certain amount of anxiety and stress, is not good when it's experienced continually. I've no idea how long Tom will be battling my logs. He had a problem, I think, with one of his vehicles, and so he didn't come until midday. So he might be soldiering on till about 6 or 7 o'clock, I don't know. But he's done well, God love him. So that's me really finished today. I'll probably try and find a nice film to watch tonight. I fancy something I like watching my samurai movies. But I did watch something else last night. Oh, I watched, who is she? Oh, Marie Antoinette. There was a BBC series. I've been watching that. I watched 2 of them last night. They were quite good. So, yeah, I might watch a bit more Marie Antoinette. Maybe a bit of samurai movieage. And now I've got my wonderful deep freeze. I shall have some lovely food tonight, and basically enjoy the end of a highly energised period of activity at the Hermitage. So, my friends, I think I'll sign off for today. Not a great lot to report, other than my little trip out, which I enjoyed. The weather was okay. Didn't rain. It was certainly chillier, which is why I'm wearing a jumper. No pipe. Been snuffing on my snort. I wasn't really much in a pipe mood, actually. I had a pipe when I got back from Bishop's Castle, which I did enjoy. But do you ever experience that as pipe smokers, those of you who do? Sometimes you just don't fancy it, which is unusual for me. I'm normally wedded to my pipe. But today was not one of those days, and I think that just mirrored how I was feeling. I didn't even feel hungry. I went out without anything to eat, really. I had a banana, I think. Didn't feel like food, didn't feel like a pipe. I don't know what was going on. I was in an extraordinary sort of mode of reality. But anyway, I think normal business has now resumed. So enjoy your weekend. It's Friday night, is it? No, it's Thursday today, Friday tomorrow, coming towards the weekend. Think about what I said about getting that balance right. Continue to meditate if you can and take time out. Sit with yourself, even if it is only for 5 minutes, preferably longer. You'll be amazed what it brings to the table in terms of the quality of your life and your sense of self-worth, sense of being, sense of purpose. Because I think it's very important, isn't it? To be at peace. Instead of always hankering after the next thing. Learn to be content in the present moment. Not wanting every single journey you go on to end, even though it might be an 8-hour flight across the Atlantic or something. Says myself, who's usually very impatient to get off the aircraft. But that always taught me a lesson. I used to actually analyse when I was sat on an aeroplane for hours and hours. I thought, why can't you just treat this as a Zen exercise? Why can't you just sit there at peace and just experience the 8 hours, and do everything in a mindful... But I didn't, I couldn't wait to get off the bloody thing. It just shows you how spiritually unadvanced I am. Anyway, there we go. We'll leave it there. I'm probably up to about 20 minutes or so. And I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll probably try and take some footage of what we've done. It won't be much different from what I showed you yesterday, frankly. But it's been a period of disruption, hard work. I've been in the energy sphere, but now I look forward to be in the de-energized sphere for a few days. And with that, I will love you and leave you. Father John, hang on. Signing out. And God willing, I will see you on the next video. Cheerio.